And for those of you that aren't familiar with Mercy, we're a healthcare system, and we're located throughout the southern part of Wisconsin and the northern part of Illinois. We have about 63 clinic locations, 3 hospitals, tertiary care. So we've really grown in the last probably 20 years from about 800 employees up to 4,000 employees. So we've had tremendous growth and have recognized the challenges that the groups have talked about over the last few sessions. So definitely a concern that's out there and something that definitely needs to be addressed. At Mercy, we've recognized it. I've been in the recruiting area primarily. Most of my time at Mercy, I've been there going on 23 years. But it probably came to light with us, I'd say probably close to 2000 in that area, when things started to become a challenge in the recruitment area, where you could see that it was hard to find some of the RNs, the pharmacists, the physical therapists, and you could see all the statistics out there telling us that things weren't going to get better, or they were going to continue in the opposite direction. So we decided at that time that we really needed to start on the front end and come up with different strategies to be able to overcome these challenges. So some of the areas, let me just start talking through. Some of the areas that we first focused on were our relationships with the schools, the area schools, and we found that to be one of the best processes, was working with them and being able to offer clinicals, things of that nature. On the flip side, at that time the economy hadn't taken the down tip, and we were seeing a lot of the older mature workers starting to think about retirement. Well, one of their first steps usually in considering retirement is to come to human resources, which is a benefit for us, to start talking about how can we get ready for this, how is pension going to work, all of those types of questions. So that was a starting point for being able to start gathering information about what's important to them. And how can we find ways to keep those mature workers in our workforce as long as possible, to be able to mentor those younger individuals that were hoping to come in through the different colleges. So we spent time with those individuals gathering information and hearing what's important. So we knew at that time to keep them, we were going to have to find some very flexible ways of doing scheduling. So at that time we put things in place such as weekender programs where they only had to work Saturdays and Sundays. We put together different shifts. Did you want 4-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts? As workers begin to mature, those 12-hour shifts sometimes can be very physically demanding, depending on what type of an area they're working in. So we started to recognize that and work with them on that. We started a work to retire program where we really encouraged these individuals that would come to human resources and asking the question of, you know, what can I do? I don't really want to leave, but I do want to maybe scale back my days. I want to only work a few days a week. I'd really like to be able to go away for the winter months. So we started thinking of different ways that we could accomplish that. So we do have a work to retire program in place. What that program allows is individuals can either just make a choice of decreasing their FTE, so maybe they're now full-time and they want to cut down to 4 days a week. They can go from a status that they are down to full, where there's no commitment of hours for them. They can work around what's flexible for them. And then we also have job shares. That's something else that we found to be very beneficial, especially if you can find a job share where you have a mature worker paired up with one of the younger workers coming in, because there again, then you get that mentoring effect that can occur with those individuals also. With the seasonal work program, what we have offered our employees the opportunity to be able to maybe work 6 months, be off 6 months, work 3 months, be off 3, work 3 months, be off 3. And what we've done with that is we've been able to, if they'll commit to doing this for 2 hours, or for at least 2 years, because this is a big commitment on the department, that we will work on that. And they also have to commit to being able to work at least 1,000 hours in a year. And what that does on both sides is it still makes them eligible for benefits. so we can allow them to carry when they're working and off, that they can still maintain part-time status, still pay part-time premiums for their benefits, still be a part of the pension plans, all of that, those things that are very important to them. The other thing that we've put in place is we have a retiree association. So if we have mature workers that are 55 years of age and are interested in looking at those opportunities of maybe going from a status to a pool or actually leaving our facility, we allow them to join the Retiree Association. And that gives them access to still stay on our health and dental benefits. They can, they have access to special trips that are planned. We have a publication that goes to them, it's called the Senior Connection, that keeps them up on things that are going on still within our organization. We really value and we want to be able to reward them for that many years of service that they've given us. So they're still invited to our employee picnics. We have a holiday party each year, a luncheon, and they're invited to that. They have access to free notary services, different types of counseling for elder care. So a lot of different programs that we still give them access to be a part of. When I talked about that job share, you know, that's an ideal situation where you can have some of that mentoring occur. But the other pieces we definitely recognized, and I can see in your workshops that you have also, is that transfer of knowledge. What a mature worker has that we still need to have shared with whoever the individual is that's going to be walking into those shoes. So we do try to work really hard when someone's, whether they're exiting our facility or maybe wanting to leave one department to go into another, or doing that scaling back, that we really focus and concentrate on that transfer of knowledge. So we're not losing that important and key function that we have in place with those. And when you think about the mature workers and individuals that you have in your workforce, it all starts on the recruiting side of things. How you're finding ways of bringing that experience and knowledge into your organization. At Mercy, I'm sure at your organizations also, age doesn't matter. We want the best person for that position. And oftentimes those mature workers are the ones that are going to be able to fill those shoes and be able to transfer that knowledge onto the younger workforce also. For the flexible scheduling, when I talked about part-time, full-time, going to a pool status, the job share. Also, we have a work at home program that I didn't mention earlier. For that, you have to have at least 5 years of service and be at least 50 years or greater. For our seasonal work option, that is 15 years of employment with Mercy and 55 years of age or greater for that opportunity. The seasonal work option we thought would be more popular, and I really think as time goes on, I think the economy really changed how people had to do things. So I think we'll see an increase in that. I think we really have only had 2 or 3 that have maintained that part-time status. Where we see the most seasonal work is in our pool and registry positions, where they're either committing to a certain number of hours a month or no commitment of hours. And those individuals, like we've had people that have even lived in other states, that have children that are going to school, whether it's here in Madison or in any of the different communities around our facilities, where they want to come here and live for a month or 2 to spend time with their children and then be able to have the opportunity to go back home. So they do that seasonal thing more in a pool rotation. For the part-time and full-time, like I said, we probably have had maybe 5 individuals right around there for the seasonal, but for the flexible scheduling and work to retire with the decreasing hours and such, oh my gosh, it'd probably be close to 100 or so. Because even if they're just decreasing by a day, we still capture that if they fit the criteria of being eligible for work to retire as being a part of that program. I haven't heard about anything new, but I think the healthcare reform will probably bring additional opportunities for us of how we look at things and how we are able to offer our benefits and such. But we do listen very closely to those mature workers when it comes to the benefits and the things that are attractive to them when we design those different programs. The Work to Retire program does require the individual to have that conversation with their supervisor to explain really what their goal is, what they're trying to achieve, and then give the opportunity for the supervisor to be able to say if they're thinking it's going to be a good idea. So the ultimate decision comes down to the department. They need to be able to accommodate that request. In the very beginning, we did have some resistance with our leadership because just that, they're thinking, you know, staffing and volumes and how am I going to be able to maintain this? But when they could see the value out of that, so that was really where HR, we needed to be able to step up and to be able to spend time with our leaders and educate them on the importance of maintaining our mature workforce and, you know, trying to point out that, okay, maybe this individual wants to go down to part-time, but then you have the opportunity to hire another individual. They can share that knowledge with that individual, and it's a win-win really on both sides. So it has taken some encouragement. We have had some resistance there, but as the program's been in place, I'm thinking we started it in like right around 2005, and as time has gone on, you see more value. Now you actually see the conversations happening with the employees and the leadership well before they're even going to join that program, because they know it's out there and they want to start doing their planning. I don't know how familiar you are with the Mercy Health System, but we've been a part of the ARC award and that venture going in that direction for many, many years. We've been in the top 50 in that ARC award for, I'd say, probably going on 15 years. This year we were recognized as number 5. So it has taken time, and it's something that you have to take small steps so that people are appreciated on both sides. You have to have that buy-in from the leadership, administration, as well as the partners that are looking for these, so that they're working together. And we've been able to achieve that, and it seems to be much smoother. Another program that we have in place is the adaptive devices. So if we have partners, we know that we have a lot of the mature workers that are in that phase of caring for their parents, as well as sometimes still having, you know, younger children at home. And that's quite a balancing act to be able to find that work-life balance. Well, we have this devices where if you have a parent, a family member that you're caring for, they can get up to $1,500 in assistance with different things such as maybe a ramp or safety devices in the bathtub. So there's an application process that they can go through and submit, and we'll assist them in the financial burdens that they may be entailing in something like that. And that's been very popular also.